Hey guys, Floops900 here with a game called Trick and Treat. It is a visual novel that looks like a horror visual novel. I'm actually pretty excited to play, so let's just get started. The sound of our steps combined with that of the occasional nocturnal animal is the only thing we can hear. It's terribly dark in this place. The dense vegetation makes it impossible to see the sky or get light from the moon. Our flashlights are the only thing that light up our way. This looks so good! At times like this, one begs to not run out of battery. Yeah, can't lie. We walk without knowing what we are really looking for, or better said, for no reason. We are just a group of boys bored with our lives, trying to create a lasting memory in this night instead of just staying home doing nothing. Today is October 31st, All Hallows Eve, better known as Halloween. Ha ha ha. 3 young men walk through the dark, but up until now, nothing special forest. Me being one of them. Okay. We are doing it to prove our courage. The one bad thing is that there's no girl here to see how brave we are. Oh, jeez. Seeing it like that, one could say we are doing a meaningless effort. Kinda? I don't know. For a moment, I stopped to look at my watch. It's 1:49 a.m. That means we have been walking aimlessly for more than 2 hours now. I'm sure that many people would find this environment terrifying. But once you get used to it, the fear disappears, making it feel like normal. What makes us afraid of the dark is that we cannot know what hides in it, what lurks in the shadows. That's true. But this is clearly an empty darkness. At that moment I sigh, feeling my legs tired. What is the point of being here? Clearly we had already demonstrated what we wanted. It would be best to return. I should tell them. I was about to speak when suddenly the atmosphere in the forest became strange. Suddenly a cold runs through my body. It was like a chill, except that it was not going away. Look at the background on that, everyone. It's beautiful. For no reason, the air's temperature dropped from one second to the other. So much so, my breath becomes visible, turning into mist. But it doesn't end there. The air is now filled with a rotten smell, just a little short from being unbearable. Ew. Images of worms and flies soon appear in my mind, giving me really unpleasant feeling. Ew. That's rather disgusting. We all stop at that moment. What's happening? So this is Axel. I ask confused while turning to look at my friends. Okay, so Axel is the main character. By the expression on their faces, it was easy to know that they were just as lost as I was. It was then that we heard footsteps nearby that did not come from any of us. We all got dead quiet after that. I don't know if it was out of fear or to just check if it was not a mistake, but we stayed motionless, like statues, without making a noise. Just looking at each other's faces, wondering the same thing. What was happening? As if I could know it. We heard the steps again. They clearly belonged to a human, or at least to a large animal, but there was something strange in them. What? It sounds like it's the person walking, or dragging one foot. Just thinking about it made me chill. Friend. Seriously, they just named him Friend? Damn! Well, how is this happening? It makes no sense. What? We should have returned home before, but now it's too late to regret it. I have the feeling that we are being stalked by someone. The strange footsteps stop, but I'm still feeling this presence nearby. I don't know where it is, but know that it is looking at me. That cursed thing is looking at me. My heart is beating anxious. It's almost as if my body was telling me to get out of there. But strangely, my friends seemed unable to perceive it. It seems that it's gone. It must have been just an animal, said one of them, convinced that we were safe. I would like to believe that too. We had We had a sigh of relief. However, bad luck would soon strike us again. Oh man. Dark clouds, stormy, well not really, it's not really a stormy night, but oh, it looks so good. Unexpectedly, the place became darker than before, in just a blink of an eye. But that was not the fault of the forest, but of our flashlights which went out. Oh god. Of the three, only one, mine, was still working. What's going on? Did the batteries die? Asked one of them, scared, but they both beat them desperately, as if that was going to revive them. I can't blame them. The idea of walking in the darkness was not pleasant for anyone. But after a few minutes, we had no choice but to resign ourselves to that. Once more, the sound of our footsteps is heard. But the silence is different now. We are not quiet because we have nothing to say, but because we are afraid. We continue walking despite the fear that invades us. Visibility is almost zero, but we have no choice. In theory, we were walking back looking for the exit, but I cannot remember anything of this forest. Yeah, I was about to say, how do they know where they've been and where they haven't been? We could be walking in circles, and I would never notice it until it was too late. I hate the thought of it. I just want to get out of... Uh-oh. Suddenly my thoughts are silenced. We hear the footsteps of someone, or something. Once more, the three of us become statues, awaiting the presence go. Ah! I hold my breath while feeling my heart beat anxiously. Damn, get away from here and leave us alone! Unexpectedly, the steps are heard closer. This time they do not disappear, but rather come at us. I can't stand it. Desperately, I move my flashlight everywhere looking for the author of those footsteps, hoping for the light and reveal his identity and erase our fears. Nothing. 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 Is that all there's around here? Just empty air? My anxiety grows with each failed attempt. I refuse to believe that it was a ghost. Suddenly, when I move my flashlight again, I see a silhouette. I cannot distinguish what it was, but for a moment the light revealed something. Quickly I point at the same place only to discover it was gone. I held my breath, anxious. If it is not an illusion, I am sure that I saw something. It was not an illusion. It was then that I hear something nearby. Without even thinking, I aim the light towards that place. What I found leaves us paralyzed with an expression of disbelief in our faces. It is a white cat with eyes of intense red, which stands before us. What? Her look is not the friendliest to say something. That's weird. Somehow I get the feeling it is a female cat. Suddenly she makes a thunderous meow that makes us really terrified. It sounded more of a lion roar than a simple cat. The echo of her meow was heard throughout the forest, making it sound more sinister than it should be. It was then that suddenly an inexplicable force hits us three. What? I fall to the ground, and little by little my eyelids close. The fatigue becomes unbearable. Dang. I lose consciousness on the ground of the forest without knowing what was going to happen with me. Interlude before night falls. Ah! It is a day like any other, so normal that it was almost painful. The only special thing that could be said about it is that it's October 31st. Far were the memories when I was a kid and went out with my friends to ask for sweets from house to house. Just remembering it made me sigh. I feel nostalgic. Some things were better when I was a child, or at least seems like that. There were some who had good costumes, whether of superheroes or monsters. I and my friends, on the other hand, had to use our imagination. Creativity was our costume, you could say, no matter how funny it could sound. I remember that my mother once painted red my face and told me, "You will be the devil." But it seems only she saw it that way. When we went from home to home, everyone said I was the Tomato Man. But those things didn't matter to me since we always had a good time. If I asked for candy now, even if I had the best costume, I'm sure no one would give me anything. Except perhaps a scolding for acting like a child when I'm 17 years old. Yeah. But anyway, I cannot stay in the past. I must live in the present, no matter how little exciting that might be. Back to reality. We have a group of friends who don't have any plans for today. We are a group of friends. We are still not in age to go to a disco. And I doubt guys I just missed that. That was bad. The other option would be to go to a party, meet girls, and have fun. Everything perfect, except that nobody has invited us. Not being popular has its disadvantages. Yeah, I hear that. Hey Axel, let's have a couple matches. What do you say? Matches? Someone called my attention. Is my friend Steven, who is playing with the game console. Rush, I believe is called the... I can't... Rush Red? Yeah, Rush Red is, I believe, is called the game. A fast and quite complicated fighting game for me. I would normally agree to play with them, but for some reason I don't feel in the mood today. I have no desire to play now. I replied with discouragement. I almost feel bad for doing it. Boring. The AI is no rival for me, Steven said with confidence. That you're playing on normal difficulty doesn't help your argument. I don't feel like losing, but if you want, you can challenge Alfred, I said, leading the attention to my other friend. I don't know how to play that, answered Alfred, doubting for a second. He is sitting behind the PC, but it seems that he is not doing anything interesting. The screen only shows a lot of text. I think he is in Wikipedia. Hey, don't you have something more fun to do? I asked with discouragement without even thinking about what he was reading. Alfred looks at me surprised. The actual problem of society is that people are not interested in discovering their history. He is one of those pseudo-intellectuals, always looking for any rare information to appear smarter than others. When we forget our past mistakes, we are doomed to repeat them, he added later. What are you talking about? This village is small and its story is not interesting at all. It has never happened anything outside of the normal. It hasn't. Okay. Alfred laughed mockingly after hearing that. Your ignorance is worthy of praise. He pauses, filling his chest with pride. The very fact it is a small town is the reason it is full of mysteries. Did you know that 20 years ago, on this day, a man disappeared? So, what about it? I asked without being impressed or even interested in the least. Things like that happen all the time in all places. As I thought, you don't know the history despite living in this very place, Alfred said while adjusting his glasses in an arrogant gesture. There's a legend behind the disappearance. That is what I was reading. After listening to him, I looked back at the computer screen with curiosity. It is then that I noticed that it was not Wikipedia, but some other page. Come on, read this and learn a little, Alfred said, inviting us to read what was on the screen. Both Steven and I moved closer to read it. Town of Abington, Oxfordshire County, 1994. I came to this town with only 4,000 inhabitants to support them in an investigation. Truth is that never in my life I had seen something this strange. I won't say your typical detective-ish nonsense that I have seen thousands of strange things in my life. I've seen many crimes, yes, some difficult to solve, but all of them were human. Even if you don't know how they managed to perpetrate the crime, you know that they are people like anyone else. In this case, I don't think I'm able to say the same thing. Truth is, I can't understand what happened. I was called for the disappearance of a man named Matthew Graham. 23 years, single. The last time he was seen, he was returning home from a Halloween party. He had drank alcohol, but was still sober. Or at least that's what said witnesses. Anyway, this is not something which can be explained with a simple drunkenness. He apparently got lost on the way home and decided to enter the forest called Oakwood. It had rained yesterday, so the ground was wet and muddy. We could easily find his traces, which were leading deep inside the forest. Apparently, he walked for 3 hours before stopping. I say stop, but the truth is we don't know what happened then. The track suddenly ended up in a clearing on the forest, and that's all. There was no evidence of struggle, no other trace, or pieces of clothing on the ground. There was no blood, no more footprints, or anything else. The depth of his last footprints and the position they were indicated that he was still walking. At no point he stood still. It was as if he had vaporized in the air, with all his clothes, in the middle of his walk. Obviously, I can't believe such a thing. But I can't give another explanation. This is really good. I like it. And I'm, you know, assuming, you know, this was before they ever went. This is like that morning. And, you know, obviously they went into the forest to find out the mystery behind it. The only thing I remember is that near the footprints I sensed a faint smell of rot. However, there were no animal corpses nearby. It is ridiculous to think he suddenly started to decay and became earth. And the end, the case was closed in just... In the end, the case was closed in just 3 days. With no evidence of any kind, we couldn't say anything but that he decided to escape from the village. However, while officially there was no more to do, I couldn't sleep in peace. Thinking about what could have happened to him took away my sleep. In my mind, I thought all sorts of theories. Like maybe everything was a plan developed by Matthew. But in the end, they all seemed impossible. I decided to investigate more on the issue. I searched the town for similar stories, and to my surprise, I found 4 more. Wow, there's 4 more of these things? Wow. I like it. Sorry, I like that. All young men. The story was always the same. They walked into the forest alone, disappearing without trace. Even more curious is that all of them disappeared on the same date, October 31st. Ooh, but there is more. A detail that completely eliminates the possibility that there is a killer or kidnapper behind this work. Why, and that is the separation of the years. Roger B. Bacon disappeared in 1924. Michael Smith disappeared in 1867. Jason Black disappeared in 1813. And the worst of all, Oswald Taylor disappeared in 1707. Wow! So, 1924, 1867... Ah, crap, my laptop's dying. Disappeared in 1707, I couldn't really... It simply couldn't be possible. My curiosity led me to dig deeper. I thought that the answer may be in the past of the forest. It was then that I discovered that what seemed a strange and boring forest actually had a great story. Before called Oakwood or Oats Forest, the place was called Winchwood. The word witch was huge similarity with witch. Ah, taking into consideration that is an old name, and language changes over time that indicates that it was the forest of the witches. Apparently more than 400 years ago, the people of the village believed witches lived in the woods. I'm going to save my game. Just because. Sorry about that, guys. My laptop was dying. I had to go and change really fast. Remove what I mean. Apparently, more than 400 years ago, the people of the village believed witches lived in the woods. Unfortunately, almost all the information is already lost. There were stories told in voice, without a properly written record. I just know that with the change of religion to Christian, people stopped seeing the witches with good eyes and began to hunt for them. Apparently, the last one before her death casted a curse on the forest, which even today should continue to exist. Anyway, obviously, I cannot accept something like that as the answer. In the end, I have no other choice than accepting that each one of them escaped from the village, using the legend of the forest to make it look like it was something supernatural. Wow, that's really cool. Interesting story. Didn't know that such a story was hiding in this town. I said honestly surprised. Even if it is a lie, it managed to hold my interest. Wait, there's something more. Alfred said at the same time he scrolls through the comments. We read what is written there. A couple of comments call our attention. Both of them talk about some witch creature. At that time, they felt a horrible fear for what could happen to them. Well, the two comments shared great similarities, that they could have been written by the same person. There are many others that deny it. Looks like many people went to the forest because of the legend but couldn't find anything. I thought that you only read these things to look more cool before the girls, replied Stephen as a joke. Alfred giggles with a little shame. Partly, yes. He admitted it. That was a secret so everybody silently knew. Well. Now we have an activity for tonight. Stephen said at the same time he makes a face overflowing with enthusiasm. What? I asked, completely lost. I thought we were just killing time. Simple. Let's go to that forest. Yeah, Stephen replied without hesitation. He seemed really fascinated about the story. Are you insane? Said Alfred, unable to believe what he just heard. You only needed to look at his face to know he did not like the idea. Despite everything you've heard, you want to go? Of course, it would be a test of courage among the three, replied Stephen, full of confidence. Perhaps too much. He should relax a bit. I don't think I would go. Don't tell me you're afraid. I mean, obviously we know they go, because there wouldn't be a game without them going, and there wouldn't, you know, we already saw the first part of it, but still, no, why would I be afraid? Answered Alfred. At the same time, he folds his arms, making a false gesture of security. It is more than obvious that you are afraid, Alfred. Almost as much as when you have to talk about with a girl. Heh. And what about you, Axel? Don't tell me you won't come. Suddenly Stephen asked me, at the same time that looks at me mockingly. Don't tell me you want to be the chicken of the group. I hate that tone of voice he used. I will never give you that. I said without thinking, showing a confident smile and look. Well, let's not say more. Check your coats, backpacks, flashlights, and some food. We are going to the forest. Stephen said, full of energy. Yeah! We three said it in unison as if we were going to have some kind of private party, not really knowing what we doing or what they were going to find. Yeah, I like it. 2:13 a.m. Ooh, this is after, isn't it? Oh my god, yay! I awake completely confused, not knowing how much time had passed. My head hurts like hell, but I can't blame it. Fortunately, the pain goes away quickly, just as my confusion. Soon I come back to my senses. My flashlight is on the ground, shining towards the empty air. I immediately pick it up. It was my only protection against the darkness that surrounds me. Then I remembered that Stephen and Alfred were with me. Stephen! Alfred! Can you hear me? Without thinking, I screamed their names in the dark. While trying to find them with my flashlight, there was no trace of them. They were gone. Where the hell are they? And what the heck just happened? I really don't understand anything. Shit. We should have just stayed home. This is not a proof of courage. We could be in danger. I have to find them. 2:19 a.m. Little time have passed since I started to look for my friends. I already can't stand this place. I'm going crazy in this forest. The darkness that covers it is unnatural. A darkness that steals your own sanity, replacing it with anxiety. To make it worse, the air is damp and cold as in winter, carrying a strong rot smell, as if there were corpses of animals hidden throughout the forest. The atmosphere in this place is oppressive, which with every step you take, it makes you more uncomfortable. Since I started to look for my friends, I felt that something is watching me, but there is nothing. I sigh with my breath full of frustration. I just want to get out of here. I continue walking, devoid of any hope. No matter where I look or how much I walk, I find nothing. I cannot even hear the sounds of animals. Rather, it seems that they are already dead and rotting. Ooh. No, I have to calm myself. I said to myself. I stopped for a moment to rest. I breathed deeply, but the rotten air of this place does me no good. Immediately, I start to cough, as if I had something stuck in my throat. Shit! What am I going to do? This cursed forest seems endless. And even if, by miracle, I could escape, I cannot abandon Stephen and Alfred. I'm really screwed up. Again I sigh, feeling on the verge of tears. My frustration is building up, but I have to do my best to keep calm. If I fall into despair, then there is no doubt I will be joining the list of missing persons. In the end, I decide to keep walking. Step by step, I should get somewhere. At least I was convinced that staying in the same place would not do me any good. Even if it is only to deceive myself, feeling that I am doing something, I wanted to continue walking. Time passes without any changes. Only the sound of my footsteps can be heard. Knowing that as soon as you stop, you will be surrounded by a dead silence is a good incentive to keep walking. But my legs were already hurting. Suddenly, I hear a crack coming at my feet. Instantly, I take a step back and look below to see what made that sound. What is this? I whispered to myself, surprised, discovering that I had stepped on animal bone. Oh god. I believe that is from an animal, although I do not rule out the possibility that it belongs to a human. But for my own good, I prefer not to think about that. An expression of anguish is drawn on my face. It is best to ignore it. I have to keep walking. Suddenly, my flashlight reveals something. Without hesitation, I point towards there again. The cat's dead? Only to realize that, with the surprise, that it is the white cat. The one from before, which made that awful meow. But this time I find it laying on the ground. It appears to be fainted and wounded. Also, it's not dead. Then what should I do? Oh, crap. Saving. Do you want to? Yes. I'm going to... I'm going to pick her up. I have to. It's best to continue without waking her. The cat is dangerous. It's her fault that I ended up in this place and my friends are missing. But even knowing that, for some strange reason, I can't help but feel sorry for her. Even if it is unnatural, it is still an animal. Then I bend down to see her closer. She is unconscious, and there is a thin line of blood coming from her mouth. I am a real idiot. I said to myself at the same time. I cleaned the blood from her mouth with a handkerchief that I had with me. Fortunately, she doesn't wake up. Then I closed her mouth, making her appearance a little better. Now she seemed to be peacefully sleeping. After a long sigh, I decided to pick her up carefully. I don't know what powers of this cat are, but if she brought me here, maybe she can return me to my world. With her in my arms, I decide that the best thing I can do is to continue walking. I think it was a good idea to pick the cat up. I mean, I couldn't leave it there. Honestly, I wouldn't. Again, I found myself in the dark forest, walking aimlessly, only moving forward, but it doesn't seem I was getting anywhere. In my arms, I carry the cat, which sleeps soundly. Come here. Here, you'll be safe. I suddenly stopped. In my face, it was easy to see the disbelief that invades me at that moment. It's that voice again. I whispered to myself with no one to listen to me. Shortly after I found the cat, a mysterious voice appeared in my mind. It is a voice feminine, soft and gentle, as if it belonged to a princess from a fairy tale, but I can't trust in that. Am I really going crazy? Or is it this force that does not make sense? I don't know, but I don't like any of the options. Then I feel the cat move in my arms. I look down at her confused, just to see how she opens her red eyes suddenly. Uh-oh. I became quiet at that instant. For a moment, the two stay motionless, staring into the eyes of the other. The red eyes of the cat were disturbing to me, but also there was something fascinating about them, something that attracts me. I lose myself in her eyes as if hypnotized, until suddenly she jumps from the intention of scratching my face. My reflex is pushing at the same time I jump back, turning my head to dodge her claws. I manage to dodge her attack, but in the process I dropped my flashlight. I panicked and acted clumsily. The flashlight falls near me, lighting up a tree in the vicinity. As soon as it left my hands, I remember how dense is the abnormal darkness. I quickly pick it up, not even thinking before taking action. And then I light the place where the cat was. Only to discover she had arched her body angrily, as if she feared an attack from me. Those red eyes stare at me, shining with the light of her flashlight as if they were jewels, reflecting a fearsome hatred and reflection towards me. My body freezes after seeing them. I can't even think. The cat then makes a thunderous meow, similar to the one before, but weaker, although not any less frightening. There's no doubt there is something wrong with that animal. It must be cursed. Everything is her fault. She must be some kind of evil spirit, a pet of the witches. I feel how panic seizes me. My heart beats quickly, begging me to do something. My mouth is dry and my forehead covered with cold sweat. What should I do? Oh God! Okay, I'm just gonna override it. I don't care. I don't care. Just gonna override it. Escape from the cat, confront the cat. Oh God, what do I do? Should I run from it, or should I confront this thing? Oh my God. Okay, guys, I'm gonna end the episode here, and next episode I'm gonna decide, I'm gonna think about this and try to figure it out. And please, you know, tell me what to do. Give me your opinions. I'll take them into consideration before I do this. Just have at it. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, leave a comment. Please tell me what to do. I want opinions on this. And please share my videos. I really appreciate that. As a small YouTuber, it helps me out. And I really do appreciate that. So please, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.